What's up, people? You're listening to KiCKFLiP SL, and this is Kippy, the little podcast where a skater kid talks about giant human psychology problems like he's some kind of bargain bin punk philosopher. First off, though, seriously, thanks for listening. Like, actually. When I started making these weird little podcast discussions, I kind of thought maybe 3 confused raccoons and 1 skate park pigeon would hear them. But some episodes started getting way more traction than I expected. Lots of comments, lots of discussion, lots of agreement, lots of disagreement, a handful of trolls, and a few angry people typing hate-filled paragraphs while most likely breathing like Darth Vader. Nope, dude, you are not my father. But honestly, that's kind of the point. People are like actually talking. And weirdly enough, that means a lot to me. Because that whole last episode wasn't really about being angry at people. It was about asking why everybody feels so pressured now to instantly pick sides, join mobs, repeat crowd-approved opinions, and socially perform for likes all the time. And judging by the comments across my social media, yeah, I'd say we touched a nerve. So after posting that podcast discussion, a bunch of people started asking about the actual school report that inspired the whole thing. So today, we're doing it. I'm gonna read the whole actual report, the full, gigantic disaster piece known as Think for Yourself. And before somebody asks, yes, I'm pretty sure my teacher, Mr. Jenkins, absolutely regretted giving this assignment to me. But he gave me an A- though, so I'm taking the win. Seriously though, a lot of this report came from stuff I've seen in schools, online spaces, skate parks, friend groups, social media, and honestly, just humans in general. How fast people turn on each other. How people join crowds because they're scared to be left outside the group. How outrage spreads. How kindness disappears when people stop seeing each other as human. And yeah, some parts are funny. Some parts are sarcastic. Some parts are probably way too intense for a kid like me. But if you spend your whole existence chasing crowd approval, eventually you stop knowing which thoughts are even yours anymore. And honestly, dude, that's spooky. So grab snacks and something to drink. And welcome to the full reading of Think for Yourself by me, Kippy Numbers. Okay, so Mr. Jenkins, before I start this report, I want to say something real quick. People always talk about bad attitudes online now, right? But honestly, I think one of the worst attitudes a person can have is just blindly joining the crowd against somebody because everybody else is doing it. That junk spreads around like a cold at school. One kid starts saying somebody's weird or bad or cringe or whatever, then suddenly everybody's repeating it like NPCs in a broken video game. And after a while, nobody even remembers why they're mad anymore. They just know the crowd already picked a target, and now they want to fit in. That's what this report is about. I've seen this stuff happen at school, at skate parks, in neighborhoods, online, in games, on social media, and honestly, pretty much everywhere people hang out. Sometimes it's super aggressive. Other times it's sneaky and quiet. But once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. It messes with people's heads. I know because I've been on the receiving end of it before. People assume stuff about me because I speak openly. People say I have tude because I don't always instantly agree with everyone in the room. But I'd rather be honest than fake. Who wants to spend their whole life pretending just to fit in with people who would probably turn on you the second the weather changes? So yeah, here's my giant report about why people gotta stop skating in circles around what other people say and start thinking for themselves. Part 1. Social signaling. Social signaling is when people publicly support causes or attack people partly because they want to show loyalty to a group or identity. At school, this happens all the time. You'll hear kids suddenly caring super loudly about something they literally never talked about before. But then you realize all their friends care about it too. Suddenly, everybody's wearing the same expressions and posting the same slogans and saying the same exact lines. It's like social camouflage. At the skate park, this happens too. One older kid says a certain skater sucks, and suddenly half the park starts acting like they hated that skater all along, even if they were literally praising him 2 days ago. People want to look like they belong to the tribe. That's the real thing happening underneath it. Part 2. Groupthink. Groupthink is when people hold back their own independent thoughts so the group can stay united. This one's dangerous because people stop asking questions. I've seen entire friend groups turn into 3D printers, spitting out the very same lines, where nobody wants to disagree because they're scared of becoming the next target. You can literally watch it happen online. One person says, "Hey, this person is bad," and instead of asking, "Wait, why?" everybody just starts stacking agreement on top of agreement like Jenga blocks made of peer pressure. At school, I've seen kids laugh at jokes they clearly didn't even think were funny just because the important kids laughed first. That's groupthink. It's weak. Not because agreeing is weak. People should agree sometimes, but because refusing to think for yourself is weak. Part 3. Mob mentality, or gang mentality. This is when people become way more aggressive together than they would alone. You know what's wild? Half the people who dogpile somebody online would never talk that way face to face at the skate park or in the playground. Not to me, anyway. But once people feel protected by a crowd, boom, instant courage. Suddenly everybody becomes a warrior behind fake profiles. It reminds me of seagulls stealing French fries at the beach. One seagull notices food, then 30 more show up screaming. That's internet mob mentality in a nutshell. Part 4. Virtue signaling. This is when people loudly express opinions, mostly to look morally good in front of others. This one annoys me so much because it feels fake as heck. Some people don't actually care about helping. They care about looking like they're helping. Big difference. It's like somebody filming themselves handing a sandwich to a homeless person, but making sure the camera angle looks perfect first. Sometimes online people act outraged not because they deeply care, but because outrage gets likes and approval. And once likes become social oxygen, people start performing morality instead of practicing kindness.
Part 5. Tribalism. Tribalism is basically my side good, your side bad. No nuance, no complexity, no curiosity, just teams. And teach, humans love teams. Sports teams, political teams, social teams, music scene teams, internet fandom teams. But when identity gets too wrapped up in teams, people stop seeing other humans as humans. They start seeing enemies. At school, I've watched kids completely stop talking to somebody just because the group decided that person was problematic. Not because they experienced anything personally, not because they thought deeply about it, just because the tribe made a decision. That's scary. Part 6. Social contagion. This is when emotions and behaviors spread rapidly through groups. Anger spreads fast online, way faster than calmness. If somebody posts, "Hey everybody, let's calmly discuss this," nobody cares. But if somebody posts, "This person is awful," suddenly everybody parachutes into the comment section like it's a live event. Outrage spreads because outrage feels exciting, but excitement isn't always intelligence. Sometimes it's just emotional wildfire. Part 7. Bandwagon effect. This one's simple.
People join opinions because lots of other people already support them. People want to belong, especially kids. Nobody wants to eat lunch alone. Nobody wants to get left out or excluded. Nobody wants to become the weird outcast kid. So people hop on bandwagons even when they secretly disagree. I've literally heard people say, "Yeah, I don't really care, but everybody else does." Bro, then why are you here talking about it? Part 8, collective mind. This is when groups start thinking so uniformly that individuality disappears. This one freaks me out the most, honestly, because eventually, people stop sounding like themselves. Everybody starts repeating identical phrases, identical opinions, identical insults, identical talking points. It's like the internet downloads software updates directly into people's brains. And the second somebody says, "Wait, maybe there's more to this story," the hive attacks. Not because questioning is evil, but because questioning threatens the group momentum. Part 9, performative outrage. This is fake or exaggerated outrage done for attention, likes, or approval. This happens constantly online. People love public anger because it gets engagement. You know what doesn't get tons of clicks? Balanced emotional maturity. But screaming, mocking, public shaming, dramatic call-out posts, the algorithm loves that junk. Sometimes people aren't even trying to solve problems anymore. They're trying to perform emotional theater for an audience. Part 10, outrage culture. Outrage culture is when anger basically becomes entertainment. And honestly, I think some people get addicted to it. Every day they wake up looking for a new villain, a new controversy, a new person to attack. It becomes social junk food. Fast, emotional, addictive. Bad for your brain if consumed non-stop. And after a while, people forget how to just chill. Part 11, moral grandstanding. This is when people use moral language mainly to look superior. Some people don't want to understand others. They want to win morally. They go ahead and take someone's comments and make a big deal about it in front of everybody. They twist it, flip it, and make an online article out of it just to point at so they can say how wrong somebody else is and how much better they are than them. You'll also notice that these grandstanders talk at people instead of to people or with people. Everything becomes, "Look how smart I am." But you know what? Truly good people don't gotta announce it every 5 minutes. Part 12, clout chasing. This is when people attach themselves to drama or outrage for attention. The internet rewards visibility, so some people realize, hey, if I join this outrage train, more people will notice me. That's why random people sometimes jump into drama they have absolutely nothing to do with. They want to ride the wave, like social surfing. Except instead of waves, it's total drama. Part 13, dogpiling. Dogpiling is when huge groups attack one person all at once. This one really messes people up emotionally. Even strong people crack when hundreds of strangers suddenly target them. And the messed up part? Most dogpilers feel less responsible because they're part of a crowd. Everybody thinks, well, it's just one comment. Yeah, but thousands of one comments becomes like psychological warfare. Part 14, cancel culture. Cancel culture is coordinated social punishment. Now look, sometimes people should face consequences for genuinely terrible actions. But internet cancellation often skips important stuff like context, growth, forgiveness, or conversation. People get treated like permanent villains forever. And really, that mindset creates fear. People stop being authentic because they're terrified of social execution. Part 15, echo chambers. Echo chambers are places where everybody only hears opinions they already agree with. This is super dangerous because your worldview slowly shrinks. If nobody ever challenges you, eventually you start believing your group is objectively correct about literally everything. That's why opposing conversations matter. Not screaming matches, not hatred, actual conversation. Sometimes you learn stuff, sometimes they learn stuff. That's healthy. Part 16, Algorithmic Reinforcement. Social media algorithms boost emotional content because emotional people stay online longer. That means anger literally gets rewarded technologically. Think about how crazy that is. The system itself pushes emotionally explosive content because outrage equals engagement. So the internet starts becoming emotionally distorted. It tricks people into thinking the whole world is furious 24/7. But truly, most real people offline are way calmer than the internet makes it seem. Part 17, NPC behavior. Okay, this one's kind of mean sounding, but funny too. NPC behavior means people repeating scripted opinions without thinking independently. Sometimes online, it seriously feels like people downloaded identical dialogue packs. Same phrases, same insults, same reactions. And if somebody asks, "Wait, can we think about this differently?" the NPC script crashes. Part 18, crowd validation addiction. Some people become addicted to approval. Likes become emotional currency. Reposts become self-worth. And after a while, people stop asking, "Is this true?" They start asking, "Will people high-five me for this?" That's dangerous, because eventually your identity belongs to the audience instead of yourself. Part 19, Identity Politics by Association. This is when people defend positions mainly because it's tied to their social identity. Basically, my side believes this, therefore I must too. And honestly, I think people should be allowed to disagree with their own side sometimes. That's called having a brain. Part 20, Fear of being outside the group. I think this one secretly controls way more people than they want to admit. A lot of people aren't even defending ideas anymore. They're defending membership. Because being outside the group feels scary, especially online. If the crowd decides you're weird, cringe, problematic, annoying, awkward, uncool, bad vibes, or whatever new label the internet invented this week, suddenly people start worrying, what if I'm next? I mean, I get it. Nobody wants to eat lunch alone. Nobody wants everybody whispering when they walk by. Nobody wants random people side-eyeing them at school or unfollowing them online like they just committed crimes against humanity because they had an opinion. So people stay quiet. Or worse, they join in against somebody they know doesn't deserve it, just so they can protect their own social safety. That's fear of being outside the group. And once fear starts controlling people, critical thinking starts doing kickflips directly into the trash can. I've seen kids suddenly turn cold towards somebody just because the popular crew started disliking them, not because the kid actually did anything horrible, but because nobody wanted to lose social points by defending him. And that's the messed up thing. Sometimes silence isn't agreement. Sometimes silence is fear. Which brings me to something Levi Rizzo said that actually stuck with me. He talked about how people surround themselves only with others who share their ideology, and they remove or block people who disagree. That's real. It's happened to me just for defending myself. I guess if everybody around you always agrees with you, eventually disagreement itself starts feeling threatening. And then instead of learning from people, you start filtering humans like Spotify playlists. But you know, growth usually happens when people hear stuff they don't expect, not when everybody's trapped in the same little thought bubble treehouse forever. Part 21, Black and White Thinking. This one is super common online now. Black and white thinking means people see everything in extremes. Good guy, bad guy, hero, villain, with us, against us. No middle ground, no complexity. No, maybe the situation is messy, but real life is almost always messy. Humans are messy, relationships are messy, arguments are messy, feelings are messy,
And online, people want simple stories because simple stories spread faster. It's easier to say, this person is evil, than this person probably has strengths, flaws, misunderstandings, emotions, history, context, and layers. That takes too much brain power for internet speed. I've seen people at school completely redefine somebody's entire identity based on one rumor. One moment, somebody's cool. Next week, never mind, they're trash now. Bro, what changed? Usually, the crowd changed, not reality. Black and white thinking also makes people addicted to certainty. People act like saying, "I'm not fully sure yet," is weakness. But I think that's maturity. The smartest people I've ever met usually ask more questions, not fewer. Part 22, emotional hijacking. This one's huge online. Emotional hijacking is when emotions overpower logic and people stop thinking clearly. And social media is built for emotional hijacking. Anger spreads fast, fear spreads fast, humiliation spreads fast. The internet basically turns emotions into fireworks. Somebody posts something emotional, people react instantly, and before anybody even thinks carefully, the outrage train already left the station. No brakes, no steering wheel, everybody screaming out the windows. And dude, I've been emotionally hijacked before too. Everybody has. You see people attacking you. You feel misunderstood. Your chest gets tight. Your brain goes, defend yourself right now. But reacting emotionally all the time usually just creates more emotional chaos. That's why I think people gotta learn how to pause. Like, actually pause. Drink water, go skate, listen to music, sleep on it. Talk to somebody face to face instead of turning every misunderstanding into digital warfare. Because when people stay emotionally overheated constantly, eventually they stop seeing humans. They just see enemies and reactions. Part 23, dehumanization. This one honestly scares me the most. Dehumanization happens when people stop seeing somebody as a real human being. Once that happens, cruelty becomes easier. People say things online they would never say to somebody standing alone at a bus stop crying. Why? Because screens create emotional distance. Profile pictures aren't human enough for some people. And when crowds are involved, it gets worse. Because people stop thinking, that's a person. Instead, they think, that's a target. And once somebody becomes the target, people start justifying all kinds of ugly behavior. Mocking, harassment, rumors, humiliation, dogpiling. At school, I've seen kids become acceptable targets, where everybody thinks it's socially safe to mock them. That stuff can seriously mess with somebody mentally. And the weird part? A lot of people participating probably still think they're good people. That's what scares me. Sometimes cruelty doesn't come from movie villains. Sometimes it comes from ordinary people trying to fit into crowds. Part 24, the silence spiral. The silence spiral is when people with unpopular opinions stay quiet because they fear backlash. Then because everybody stays quiet, it looks like only one opinion exists. And then that makes even more people scared to speak. It's like social quicksand. I think this happens online constantly. People watch somebody get destroyed publicly and think, welp, guess I better keep my thoughts to myself. And honestly, sometimes I understand why. The internet can be brutal. But if everybody becomes scared to speak honestly, eventually all conversations become fake. And fake conversations create fake communities. Communities should be places where people can respectfully disagree without instantly trying to socially execute each other. That doesn't mean accepting cruelty or hatred. It means accepting humanity. Last part, what we could do instead. This is the important part, because I don't just want to complain about the internet forever. I actually think people can do better. Here's some stuff we could do instead. Listen before reacting. Not every situation needs instant outrage. Sometimes hearing both sides changes everything. Stop rewarding cruelty. People online act cruel because crowds reward it with attention and approval.
If everybody stopped clapping for public humiliation, less people would perform it. Ask questions. Questions are healthy. Curiosity is healthy. Not knowing everything immediately is normal. Stay around good-hearted people. This matters a lot. Bad attitudes spread. Cruelty spreads. Cynicism spreads. Mockery spreads. If your whole friend group constantly tears people down, eventually that junk changes you too. I'd rather hang around weird, goofy, kind skater kids who care about people than cool, bitter people who act emotionally radioactive every other second. Don't become addicted to crowds. Being accepted feels good, but losing yourself feels bad. People should belong to groups without surrendering their brains. Oh, and about that ironic post. Okay, so this part genuinely made me laugh. Some lady posted one of those quote images that basically said, "Anyone who goes against you without hearing your side of the story was already looking for a reason to be against you." Well, yeah, that quote is true. But here's the funny part. She literally did the exact same thing to me. She repeated troll rumors and weird stuff people said about me without ever actually listening to me directly. Never asked me questions. Never tried understanding my side. Never gave my actual words a chance. Just immediately absorbed the crowd narrative. And that's when I realized, whoa, she accidentally called herself out. That's what made it ironic, because the quote perfectly described the behavior she was participating in. And you know what? I didn't even get mad. I just thought, this is kind of hilarious in a sad little person way. So knowing she hated me already without giving me a chance, I gave the post a like. And now I kind of wonder if she noticed, because deep down I wasn't liking the hypocrisy. I was liking the accidental truth hidden inside it. And yeah, that's kind of the whole point of this report. Sometimes dumb people say smart things without realizing they should apply those same things to themselves too. And really, all humans do that sometimes, including me, which is why people should probably spend less time performing perfection online and more time trying to become decent human beings in real life. That's harder, but way more meaningful. It sounds way cooler than spending your whole life trying to win approval from crowds that change opinions every few seconds. So, final thoughts. Look, Teach, I'm not saying people shouldn't care about things. Care deeply, care passionately, stand up for people, protect people, speak honestly. But please think for yourself too. Don't just join crowds because crowds feel safe. And definitely don't become the kind of person who enjoys hurting others because the internet handed you social permission slips. That crap changes people. Bad attitudes spread. Cruelty spreads. Mockery spreads. But kindness spreads too. Curiosity spreads too. Independent thought spreads too. For reals though, I'd rather skate with good-hearted weirdos who think for themselves than angry trend followers who need crowds to tell them who to hate next. It's funny because people will accuse me of attitude sometimes because I speak openly. But you know, I'd rather be honest than fake nice. And anyway, who wants to spend their whole life being an asshole? That sounds exhausting. So maybe before joining the next online mob, people should slow down for a breath or two and ask, do I actually believe this? Did I hear both sides? Am I helping? Am I thinking for myself? Would I say this face to face? Because being part of a crowd might feel powerful for a minute, but being your own person lasts way longer. Thanks for listening to KiCKFLiP Radio.
My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting down.
In the beginning, the streets were bare. Yet on the seventh day, I brought the flair. No time for rest, y'all, I'm dropping in. Here come the grooves, just hear me spin.
My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting down.
There came a day I felt alone. All trust was lost, where doubts were sown. An evil came and planned deceit. He cast a spell and claimed the streets. That poser lied, he fooled my friends. He tried to break me, but he didn't win. I'm not saying I'm better, no better than you, but if you wanna beat me, you better know the rules. My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting down. No plastic smiles, no poser flings. I've seen the top and it's not my thing. I try to speak, they only mocked. Fake friend betrayal is all I got. They tried to shun me and break me down. They tried to hurt me and make me frown. The world kept laughing, they thought it cute, but they did not change me. I'm resolute. My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting drowned. Spin that, somebody. Flip that, kick that, somebody. Jump that, grind that, somebody. Land that, pop that, somebody. My name is Kippy, and I'm KiCKFLiP. When it comes to beats, I'm mad trippy. Cause I know the key and I know the style to make you dance, to make you smile. That's when I gotcha, that's when you're mine. That's when we get along and cross the line. My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting down. Cause when we dance, we're having fun. The vibe unites us, everyone. Up, 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 say there's a better scene. Don't fall for glitter or shiny things. Don't come to shun, don't come to sling. Just ask yourself and what it means. What brings you joy? What makes it real? What builds you up? What gives you feels? What fuels your fire? What lights your way? What gives you hope? What makes your day? If it's the rhythm that moves your heart, then let the beat set you apart. My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting down. There came a day I felt alone. All trust was lost where doubts were sown. An evil came and planned deceit. He cast a spell and claimed the streets. That poser lied, he fooled my friends. He tried to break me, but he did not win. I'm not saying I'm better, no better than you, but if you wanna beat me, you better know the rules. My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting down. No plastic smiles, no poser flings. I've seen the top and it's not my thing. I tried to speak, they only mock. Fake friend betrayal is all I got. They just shun me and break me down. They tried to hurt me and make me frown. The world kept laughing, they thought it cute, but they did not change me. I'm resolute. My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster, the one and only. I didn't come to mess around. It's time for beats and getting down. What brings you joy? What makes it real? What builds you up? What gives you feels? What fuels your fire? What lights your way? What gives you hope? What makes your day? If it's the rhythm that moves your heart, then let the beat set you apart. My name is Kippy, and I am spunky. I am the Kipster,